FullMetalTastic.
What to do, YouTube? It's your boy FullMetalTastic, back at like a crack at it. Always here like a bad habit. How you living? How you feeling? How you feeling? How you living? Shout out to the naysayers. Shout out to the haters. Shout out to the Lulus. A couple screws missing. I said I'm hot. I'm on fire. I'm never missing. We here. I know y'all seen it, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows has been delayed another month, right? Rightfully so. There's a lot of heat coming out next month, February. There's a lot of heat coming out in general. It gives time to polish the game, and we were blessed with new gameplay, right? Shout out to the hidden one, someone who I respect in the Assassin's Creed community. I'm not as consistent, right, with my Assassin's Creed videos. I just started playing through my own crusade, so from AC1 until about Syndicate. I played Origins. I probably played Origins the most out of that last big three. I played Mirage, right? I like Mirage. But I will be playing through AC1 through Syndicate, at least, at most, at least, whatever, however you want to take it, on my channel. Currently I'm in the middle of AC2. Yeah, go stop by, look. If you like what you see, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all, you know. But yeah, this video is from the hidden one. Posted up some new gameplay. We got about what, 16 minutes worth of gameplay. So, you know, let's jick and jive. I feel alive.
So we just got a brand new look at exploration in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and safe to say it's looking very good. Now of course, if you don't know, Ubisoft released 4 articles covering stealth, combat, parkour, and now with this one it's exploration. I've made videos covering all these articles and the brand new gameplay for each one in depth, so check those out if you have not. And now it's time for exploration. You know, this was the one that was the most interesting to me because after all, this is a feudal Japan open world Assassin's Creed game, and I'm sure we're all intrigued to see what the exploration side of.
That means we're gonna have to go through the other ones too. The
game looks like, and safe to say it's quite impressive. Certain things do remind me of other games, which I'll get into later in the video. There's even a returning feature that was previously removed before the delay that they've added back into this article. Yasuke can synchronize viewpoints and a lot more. This video will also contain some things that are not from this exploration article, but rather pieces of information dumps like the first expansion and other things that I've not mentioned on this channel yet. But before we can get into the exploration article and the new gameplay, as always, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on everything Assassin's Creed. And with all of that said,
and at the time of this recording, I just seen he posted on Twitter too. I think it was this morning or yesterday. He just hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Y'all don't already? Go show that man some love, bro.
Let's take a look at the brand new exploration article that was released today. So the first part of the article goes over the world map, which we finally got a real look at that is not this image. One thing I want to note from the start of this article is how Ubisoft wants exploration to feel meaningful. As game director Charles Benoit puts it, we didn't want to hold the player's hand too much with icons and markers. We wanted to craft an open world where information was key and would become a form of reward. Now of course, as you already know, Assassin's Creed open worlds in my opinion are very handholdy, but with Assassin's Creed Shadows and what we've seen so far, it's definitely a different approach, and the world map seems quite sizable and detailed. You know, it reminds me a lot of Valhalla and Mirage's map layout, which personally I did not mind at all, as if anything it looked quite good. So unlike previous games, you won't start with a map cluttered with icons and markers. Instead, you'll see region names and drawings hinting at what's out there. For example, let's say we take a look right here. We are zoomed out at the maximum, so this is what the map looks like fully zoomed out, and it's definitely a lot more compact. The comparison was that the map was similar to Assassin's Creed Origins map, but I do expect the map in Shadows to be less empty because, well, it's not desert. Anyway, going back to the region names and drawings on the map, as you can see here, the player is in the Yamashiro region, and as the map zooms in, it slowly reveals itself, uncovering landmarks and subregions. You'll find undiscovered locations marked with a question mark. And these
That's
question
kinda
marks
like,
could lead to anything from
Ghost of
mystery
Tsushima.
camps to hidden shrines and a lot more.
Is
And
he
when I
gonna
say a
mention it?
lot more, I definitely mean it, because this article only scratches the surface of what we can find. Now, I want to highlight some things that I've noticed just by looking at this map. First of all, take a look at this. Now, this is quite evidently a compass, but if you look at the center, there's an icon of the sun. Now, I'm 90% sure that this is the season system, and from this scene alone,
okay.
we are in the summer season. If we move down a bit, we can see the change season prompt. So, you know, this has got me wondering, can we actually change the season manually from, let's say, summer to spring or autumn to winter and
How
so
y'all feel
on?
about
Now, the
that?
reason I'm asking this is because in this article, there's another clip where the icon has changed from a sun to a leaf, indicating maybe
That's autumn.
spring or autumn. So it does
That's
definitely
probably
seem
autumn.
like seasons are changeable. But, you know, that's just my guess. However, if that's the case, then that is pretty impressive, considering how impactful each season is with how bodies of water will get frozen over in certain seasons, winds will be a lot more heavy in certain seasons, and so on. The last thing I want to mention for this map is the region levels. Now, I'm sure this is going to be a very divisive opinion, and it seems like each region of the map in this game will be level specific, which personally I don't mind at all. However, I can see why people would not like this, as it does kind of restrict you in a way. Maybe you are somebody that wants to explore any region at any time, but with this game it seems level gated. Okay, now moving on swiftly from the world map, let's go over viewpoints which were discussed and shown in this article. Now, viewpoints are back, but they're a bit different this time. If you recall back to the intro of this video, I mentioned how there was a returning feature that was previously removed before the delay that's now been added back into this article, and it's to do with viewpoints. So as you can see in this clip, when Naue approaches the top of this Tenshu, which by the way is the largest and tallest tower in any castle, the camera does a full 360. Now at first glance, you may be thinking, well, we've seen this in pretty much every Assassin's Creed game, and you are right. But what's interesting about this is that this was something that was initially removed entirely before the game got delayed. So evidently they have taken player feedback very seriously and have actually implemented this feature back into the game during the polishing phase. So that's always a positive thing to see.
Y'all was gonna take away viewpoints from us? Bro, if y'all know me, like especially in my playthroughs, I definitely just I've done a better job at least editing that I can do for my Assassin's Creed gameplays, right? Because you know with certain games you kind of want to just edit out certain parts, like especially if you're dying a lot and everything. But yeah, like I've been showing, you know, I've been getting to that. The viewpoints, you know. There's I don't know if, you know, whoever's played Assassin's Creed 2, you can do backwards leap of faiths. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, then you gotta go and watch my videos to see. Is in one of them. Pretty sure it's in one of them. I think right now at this time of the recording, 4 episodes are coming out. The 5th one is already edited. Just gotta schedule it. Yeah, so you know, get some snacks, have some fun, vibe with me, grow with me, you know.
I've always loved the 360 drone shot. Now also, climbing a viewpoint in this game does not just reveal large sections of the map with a flood of icons. Instead, you can manually observe the world around you from the top of the high point. You can rotate the camera 360 degrees to find and tag points of interest, whether it's a temple, a shrine, or a castle. Of course, these viewpoints also act as fast travel points, though some of them come with a challenge. And this next part of the article is the one that surprised me. So with these viewpoints, you need to strategize how to reach these spots. Now, Naue can of course use her grappling hook to scale the outside to reach the top. Now you may be thinking, what about Yasuke? Well, Yasuke can also reach the top of the viewpoints as well. And you may be wondering how that's even possible if he cannot parkour. Well, it's said that in this article, Yasuke will likely need to take the stairs and go through the guards to reach the top. So there you have it. Yasuke's approach is very different compared to Naue, which I honestly expected. Now, I imagine this building where the viewpoint is on is accessible from the inside all the way to the top. This appears to be a door for Yasuke to come through, so he'll walk around here and I imagine he'll climb this wooden structure to get to the top. And that's pretty much how Yasuke can synchronize viewpoints. It's not at all like Naue, which is expected, but hey, at least we now know he can synchronize viewpoints, so that's always fun to know. This article also goes over the observe mechanic, which we briefly covered in the stealth article video I made, but we do get some more gameplay related to it here. So of course, if you are not aware, in Assassin's Creed Shadows there's no more eagle companion. Instead, you are pretty much the eagle yourself. So if you hold down L2, the observe mechanic
that's
comes into
like
focus
the
and lets you
original.
scout your surroundings from a vantage point. You can tag enemies, spot items, and locate quest objectives. This feature is especially helpful when investigating areas identified by your scouts, which we'll get into more later in the video. This observe mechanic, in my opinion, is definitely a more hands-on approach, essentially putting the responsibility of planning and observation directly on you. Now, one thing to note from this video is this part when the camera zooms into the target. If we go back to last summer, so like 7 months ago, when this game had its first gameplay reveal, and we just do a comparison for zooming into the target, it is quite evidently a lot more smooth, and it's so noticeable. You know, if anything, it is kind of surprising that they showed us what they showed us last year, but then again, that just shows us the corporate greed of higher-ups in Ubisoft, and how they wanted to release this game in a terrible state. In fact, let's break down both shots to show you how different it is. So in this old footage, the zoom in hitches and starts off with a slight lag spike. In this new polished footage, it's seamless, there is no hitch or spike. In the old footage, when the zoom in reaches the target, the text displays and it seems pretty fine, right? But what I've noticed in the polished footage, there is the addition of background behind the text, but also this. I'm not sure what this scrolling text is, but if I was to take a guess, it seems to be connected to something Animus related, maybe the Animus hub, because it certainly does not fit the feudal Japan aesthetic going on. So, you know, it does seem like something else entirely. Also, look at the zoom out effect from the old footage. There isn't any, it just cuts back to Yasuke. Whereas in this new polished footage, it's a very smooth zoom out back to Naue. So yeah, even though it's little details like these, trust me, it makes a big difference. And it further proves that polish has been implemented, and the delay for this game is that reason. The next part of the article goes over safe houses, but interestingly they don't show anything related to it in this article, so you're just gonna have to use your imagination. Anyway, how safe houses work is pretty simple. So if you explore the world, you come across safe houses called kakurega. I definitely butchered that pronunciation. Now what this means in Japanese means hideouts or safe houses, and these safe houses in the game are not typical places to rest, but instead they're extensions of your main hideout. At these safe houses you can do many different things: refill your rations, tools and ammo, access your gear stash, accept contracts. So it does seem like contracts are returning. I do hope they have more meaning to them. I don't know how they were in Odyssey, because to me that felt too generic. You could also replenish and manage scouts and also plan your next moves. Each safe house also acts as a safe fast travel point, as they are located outside enemy controlled areas. It would have been nice to see them in the article, but I guess they can't spoil everything, which seems fair enough.
Facts.
Now the next part of the article goes over something called Pathfinder, and no, not Pathfinder from Apex Legends. And I'll happily admit that this is a mechanic inspired by Ghost of Tsushima, so you know, the whole comparison between both games is starting to become a little justified. But hey, if your game looks like Ghost of Tsushima, is that really a bad thing? But first, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Yasuke's fucking outfit. My god, is he dripped out. Whatever outfit this is, I need it. He's got what looks like fur or a feathered shoulder cape on his right shoulder, a straw hat, a cape draped over the left shoulder, which I'm not sure what allegiance or clan symbol that is, but you know what, I just need this outfit ASAP. Anyway, let's talk about the Pathfinder mechanic. It's pretty simple. So as we know, Japan's landscapes in this game are unique, filled with steep mountains that cannot always be climbed. Sometimes sticking to the roads is the best way to travel. That's where the Pathfinder comes in. When you're on horseback, this feature draws a white line on the ground, showing the best route to your destination. Of course, if you want an even less guided experience, you can just simply turn off the Pathfinder at any time. It is a nice accessibility option for those that might otherwise feel overwhelmed by the terrain. And speaking of the terrain, is it me, or does it seem like this game will contain the most dense of forests in any Assassin's Creed game by far? I mean, this just seems complicated to traverse through. But hey, that's what the Pathfinder mechanic is for, right? Now here's where we get pretty in-depth with the exploration article. Let's talk about the objective board, because it's a very in-depth system that seems impressive. So pretty much the objective board is essentially a revamped quest log, but it's more interactive. Think of it like Mirage's objective board, but on steroids. It helps you track your progress through Japan's many stories, whether it's local conflicts, personal backstories for Naue and Yasuke, hideout related things, or the wider narrative that ties them together. Now from that description alone, it appears that the quests or stories in this game are not centered around fetch quests, which was a common criticism of Assassin's Creed Odyssey's quests. So how this objective board works is each board connects to a target or NPC. What we need to do as players is gather clues to locate opportunities tied to quests and then use the map to deduce where to investigate next. This article mentions that this system evolves the exploration mode introduced in Odyssey, giving us more control. If that sounds too difficult for you, then you don't need to worry because scouts can help pinpoint objectives. And there's even a guided mode for those who prefer a straightforward experience. Personally, I might not even touch the scout system because I prefer finding objectives and targets naturally. Now I want to analyze this objective board a lot more because there's some things I've noticed. Instantly there's the assassin insignia slapped in the middle. If you ever were concerned that this game would feature traditional assassins, then there you go. This is the League. Now what the League is pretty much your shinobi recruits. Think Assassin's Creed 3 recruits where they all had a kind of quest line to them. As you can see here, there is this character in the middle. Now we don't know her name, but what we do know based on leaks is that this character is a shinobi recruit, but more specifically this one. It seems like there will be 6 shinobi recruits to recruit, and they will each have their own quest line tied to them. If we pause the footage right here, we can see this, which is the Onryo, which when searched on Google, Onryo means a type of ghost or spirit. So, I'm not sure how that works here, but if I were to take a wild guess, I'd say that this circle of people would be the Assassin's Creed Shadows version of the Cult of Cosmos, or maybe the Falakis from Assassin's Creed Origins. But seeing as there is less of them here, that does give me hope because maybe they are more fleshed out. Whereas in Odyssey, the cult members individually were not interesting at all. What I will say is that every single one of these enemies have such an incredible design. I mean, this one looks straight out of a horror film, and this one looks like it's a wandering Ronin. But yeah, whatever this system is, it looks very interesting and I want to know more. Now here is a quest that this person offers, where he wants you to assassinate the Kabuki Mono leaders. It's a quest given by this character, and because he gives you this quest, it opens up this section. This is a group known as the Kabuki Mono, which that character wants you to kill. Now what's interesting is Kabuki Mono refers to the wandering samurai, and in real life, the Kabuki Mono was said to have members that were part of Oda Nobunaga's clan. Of course, if you don't know, Oda Nobunaga is a Japanese daimyo, and a very powerful figure. He's also who Yasuke serves during the Sengoku period. As you can see, this specific person is known as the Grave Dancer, and the rewards for killing him are 2 skill points, a level 11 katana I believe, and 235 of the in-game currency. I'll go over what we could use this currency for later in the video, when I talk about smuggling. Another part of the objective board is the hideout, as you can see here. I think this is self-explanatory. The top icon is your horse, so I believe you'll be able to manage your horse, whether it's saddles, cosmetic skins or whatnot in the hideout. This is your scout system I think, which you can manage. This is the crafting / gear upgrade maybe. And I think this one might be accessing your gear stash. And this last one is I believe painting, which I'll discuss later in the video. Now the last thing barely shown is this, which is Naoe's personal backstories as mentioned in the article. Now hopefully, fingers crossed, her own questline is quite in depth and written well. Otherwise it would be disappointing because a good story can carry a mediocre game, and trust me, it can. And now we have scouts, and this article goes over them a lot more than we already know. So scouts play a pretty big role in Shadows. These allies can reveal quest objectives, gather resources for upgrading your hideout, and also reset provincial alerts if you cause too much chaos. The more scouts that you have, the bigger their impact.
So it's like
for example, deploying multiple scouts increases the radius of scouting, making it easier to find hidden locations as demonstrated in this clip.
It's like when you used to send in Brotherhood, it's like when you used to send your recruits on missions so they could level up. But it's like different.
They're also essential for smuggling, which lets you flag resource stockpiles for your league to collect and cash in at the end of the season. Now this smuggling system is definitely new, and I'll be honest, I can see this kind of getting pretty boring at the same time because the more we play, it does seem like we just tag stockpiles and our scout collects them off screen. Hopefully there's more to it, and then we can use the stockpile that we collect from here for upgrading the hideout
even if that is what it is,
Now before I go over the last part of the article, I want to go over something that was accidentally revealed on the Steam page for Assassin's Creed Shadows, but was very quickly removed, and that is the first expansion for the game named Claws of Awaji. Now what is known about this expansion is not much apart from a few important bits. So this expansion gives us over 10 hours of content, and this expansion takes us to Awaji Island, which is said to be an important spot during Japan's Sengoku period, known for its role in naval power and trade. Now on the map in game, it's basically this island that seems inaccessible in the base game. To be fair, this is pretty sizable, especially for a DLC. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a game also made by Ubisoft Quebec, did not give us a brand new region to explore in its first expansion, So this does seem like a positive already. Now in this expansion, apart from the new region, there are new weapons, skills and gear, all designed to fit perfectly into the Sengoku setting. Ubisoft updated the Steam page for Assassin's Creed Shadows with these details, but then quietly reverted it back to what it originally was. And if you pre-order the game, you'll also get access to this DLC when it drops. Oh, and by the way, digital pre-orders as of me making this video are not out. So hopefully sometime this week or maybe next week, digital pre-orders go live because I want to buy the damn game.
I might actually
Now the last part of the
buy
article that we need to go over
copy.
has to do with some specific activities for Naoe and Yasuke. So both protagonists have unique ways to engage with the world. Naoe can perform Kuji-Kiri meditation, which reveals more about her backstory while sharpening her focus. Yasuke can learn new kata, which refers to weapon maneuvers from NPCs by completing specific combat challenges. He can also take part in various Horch archery events. Both Naoe and Yasuke can participate in something known as Sumi-e painting, where they paint wild animals that they encounter in Japan's diverse ecosystem. And that is pretty much the entire exploration article broken down into my perspective. Of course, let me know down below what your thoughts are with this article. I will say out of the 4 that were released, this one seems like it's my favorite because of how much I was able to break down and analyze. Of course, this is scratching the surface because the game director Charles Benoit even mentions that they want to keep some surprises to ensure our exploration in this game is memorable. And, you know, I hope so. Because Ubisoft cannot afford to mess this game up. I've said it before in a past video. This game right here is Ubisoft's last chance at survival. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, go follow Tastic. Go follow Tastic's Twitch, cuz. That man is crazy.